Oh,
Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our process. Our process at Trustbare. Our mission is to empower you to make a wise decision about your health care, and there's never a cost to you for our services. Our three-step process is intelligently and thoughtfully designed to eliminate any bias. Trustbare will help you discover what's important to you. We work for you. How do we do that, sweetheart?
well, first of all, we're going to ask you, do you really even need Medicare? Not everyone does. Maybe you have a better option, through an employer or some other situation. Know what you don't know. What do you know about Medicare already? We want to find that out and see if we can help you, fill the gaps in your knowledge. Are you a veteran? And by the way, thank you for serving. We appreciate that. As Americans, thank you for our freedom. Did you retire from the federal government? That's a whole different scenario. And many people, quite frankly, when we're talking about that, are getting very bad advice on what to do. If you are a federal retiree, you need to call us. And we're not going to sell you anything. That's not the point. We'll tell you what's going on so you don't make the same mistakes that hundreds of other people, thousands, probably millions of other federal employees have made. What about your spouse? What happens to your spouse if you go on Medicare and say you're leaving your employer insurance and your spouse is younger than you? Then what happens to him or her? Like I said, is there an employer option? Maybe your employer actually offers a after 65 Medicare secondary insurance, possibly a Medicare Advantage plan, and it just depends on the situation. That might be an attractive option for you as well. And if that's your best option, that's the one that you should take.
And also, the employer option is not just the employee. If a spouse is on an employer plan and is depending upon that plan for their insurance and they have a complicated health scenario, you really should get some help because they are part of your decision, a big part.
Right, and it may be necessary to stay on that plan, at least short term, until you can get that. What about your tax situation? Do you know a lot of Americans pay more in taxes on their Medicare Part B and their Part D premiums than maybe they need to? There are some exceptions, and we help people all the time manage those taxes. What do we do next?
Okay, so number one, that's what we do. We help to evaluate all of these things. After we've evaluated you for this criteria and we have found out whether or not we can help you. If we can help you, then the next thing that we do is we set out to inform, educate, and empower you. Prior to COVID, we used to have public workshops. We had some at Perkins and some other local restaurants in the area, and we invited people through an invitation in the mail to come and join us for lunch. And at that lunch, we explained how Medicare worked, the ins and outs of Medicare, and the holes that exist if you don't choose any sort of a Medicare solution. And then we talked about how to fill those holes. Generally, just how Medicare works. If after that workshop, the people who attended wanted to, they had an opportunity to set an appointment with us where we would sit down with them at their homes and talk about their individual situations.
Yeah, and talk about a lot of these questions.
Right, things that you don't want to talk about in public.
Right.
A lot. So anyway, because that environment no longer exists, once COVID came around a year or so ago, we had to change gears and transition like all of us are doing right now during this time. And so what we did was we've spent how long?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Yeah, since last February.
Long year. Plus recording our content that we used to use in our workshops onto videos. And those videos are on our website. Thank you, Rob. You're amazing. And so that's how we will inform, educate, and empower you, is to help guide you through which videos will benefit you after we find out we've evaluated your needs.
And our video, pardon me, our
Yeah.
videos will cover Medicare basics like we used to cover in the workshop. Covers every topic that we used to cover in the workshop and more.
Right.
Because we have a lot more time and we can condense it. There's no interruptions. It's actually a really good situation for you as well. You can cover a lot of ground in a relatively short period of time. But we've also added a lot of videos on beyond the basics. Things that we used to just say in the workshop that really weren't part of Medicare basics, but were important little tidbits, like the tax situation, some of the other things.
And also things we've learned from our clients. We learn things from our clients all the time. We are so grateful to have been in this long enough that we've had people with weird experiences. We had a client who had an outstanding workman's comp claim that she thought years ago had been closed.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
She went to seek care, and they said, "Wait a minute, you have an open
Yeah, Medicare denied
workman's
her
comp claim,"
yeah.
and so
We
then,
got it straightened out.
then he got to work. So he's amazing and wonderful. Our third step is that we analyze, advise, and implement. We look at the Medicare market. We're constantly studying it. We know everything that's available, and we look at your specific scenario, and we help match you to the type of plan that will give you peace of mind so you can sleep at night. I mean, that's really what this is all about.
Yeah, and this is so important. The onboarding process to Medicare is so important, because if you don't get a good start, then you're scrambling and changing.
Right, and we help people fix mistakes a lot,
Oh,
and
yes,
that
yes.
is it's important, and we're very happy to do it. But if you could get great advice from the beginning and avoid all those mistakes, we think you'd be much better off, and that's what we highly recommend. So, and finally, this is just the beginning of our relationship with you. We want to help you as you age and as your medical needs change. When things come up, we want you to have a human being, two human beings who are very, very dedicated to this environment to try to help you transition yourself through Medicare.
I want to talk just to expand just a little bit on the analysis. You know, what do we do there? Well, we try to find out what's important to you. You know, your doctors, your medications, your healthcare budget, your travel plans, whether you want a self-directed care option like a PPO or a secondary, choosing from the alphabet soup of secondary insurance and drug plans, or maybe managed care, and that could be an HMO, point of service plan, a PPO, a special needs plan, a Part D drugs plan. We're going to ask you about upcoming procedures, ancillary benefits. Are those important to you? Some people, they're very important. Is pay as you go versus pay monthly, which is more attractive to you? Income related taxes, etc., etc. And once we've gone through all of that and digested it, searched all of the options on Medicare.gov and any other resources that we need to use to get to your best plan, then we recommend the plan that's right for you, and we enroll you in that plan, and we will help you navigate Medicare for the rest of your life. That's it.
what we do.
And again, this is
Again,
just
thank you
the
so
beginning.
much for
Yes,
joining
thanks.
us. We sincerely appreciate it. And remember, we know Medicare, Trustbare. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for tuning in.
Have a great day.